Georgians are headed to the polls for the second time in a month. Early voting is underway for the Senate runoff between incumbent Democrat Raphael Warnock and Republican challenger Herschel Walker. The election could determine whether the Senate remains split at 50-50 with the vice president as the tiebreaker, or whether Democrats will hold a one-seat majority. Let's bring in our ABC News contributors, former Republican Congressman Tom Graves of Georgia and former Democratic Congressman Joe Crowley of New York, for more on this. Thank you both for being here. Joe, how crucial is this seat for Democrats when it comes to negotiating deals in the Senate?
Well, there's no question that any addition to the Senate of another Democrat will have an impact there. It will release some of the tension I think you see placed on primarily two senators, one from Arizona and one from West Virginia, Sinema and Joe Manchin. And so I do think it would add more to the mix in terms of getting things over the goal line that need to be passed in a timely manner.
Now, Tom, Democrats already won control of the Senate regardless of the results here. So why do Republicans need to win this race?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's something that you hear a lot about in Georgia. And it's less about the control of the Senate, and it's more about the committee process. It's more about having the committees evenly split. And then while there may be a Democrat chairman, there is certainly a distribution of powers and authority amongst the committee, which is very important. But also, I was speaking with Herschel Walker last night, and it's about also going into 2024. The Senate makeup of 2024. And so with so many Democrat seats on the line going into the next election cycle, this is a very important seat today, not only for the process, the committees, filibuster, all those things, but also setting up the next election cycle.
Joe, are you worried at all that now that Democrats already have control of the Senate, that some voters might stay home and feel that this race isn't as important as it would have been otherwise?
Well, it doesn't seem like that's the case as of now. We're seeing great turnout in Georgia at the moment. I do think this is about expanding the size of the Democratic majority. And I think Georgians understand. Now, the question is that enthusiasm going to be there? Remember, 2 years ago, there were two simultaneous Senate races going on in Georgia, and control of the Senate was at hand at that point in time. But let's also keep in mind that Herschel Walker has been endorsed and was the creation of Donald Trump. And this is, I think, another opportunity for Georgians to reject the biggest loser of this last election, and that is Donald Trump.
Speaking of Donald Trump, Tom, the former president is facing some backlash after several of his preferred candidates failed to win their races on Election Day. So does his endorsement now help or hurt Herschel Walker?
Well, his endorsement certainly helps in primaries. We've seen that. General elections, that's something else. But I will say this, just to respond to my good friend Mr. Crowley there, is that Herschel got into this race on his own. He's been running this campaign on his own. And when I spoke to him last night, he said there's no plans for Donald Trump to be involved through the next week. In fact, he knows he can win this without outside support. And you see that from the Warnock campaign as well, that they're certainly concerned. They've spent more money than they ever thought they would spend. And he's an incumbent who's been in office now for 2 years with a record, and he's having to defend that. And Herschel's been able to do that without Donald Trump engaging in the state of Georgia. And so I think, as you get into the next week, you're going to see the Herschel Walker campaign do this without the support of outside individuals getting involved, but do it on their own.
All right, we'll be watching closely. Tom Graves, Joe Crowley, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.